Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another discussion on this glorious afternoon. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm just so excited to talk with you tonight. And you might have looked at the title and said, check out a reality and change your life. Like, what is she talking about? Is she doing all this whole touchy-feely, thing? And no, and I don't want to say touchy-feely quantum physics thing because there's a lot of truth in quantum physics stuff. So anyway, remember my doctorate's in cognitive psychology, so I'm all about the neurons and that which is where it all begins. In fact, I'm so pumped to have with my students starting back, right, to we have a neuron appreciation day. Why? Because neurons are where it all begins. It all comes right down to the neurons. And yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about is, and also mindfulness. So when we're talking about checking out a reality, here's the thing. I'm not talking about going on a retreat and doing shrooms and doing, I forget what the name of that is, that they put in tea and having all these experiences. No, we're talking about in a very clear-minded, as in not using chemicals or anything, check out of reality, meaning we're talking about coming into awareness. We're talking about mindfulness. I'm not repeating all the episode we just did. It's not about that. What we're talking about is not being stuck in and dependent upon, actually that's a better way to say it, dependent upon our senses, what's coming in via our senses, right? And our sight and our hearing and our touch and our taste and all that stuff. You might say, ooh, where's she going? I am telling you where I'm going. It's a good place because here's the thing. Adults experience approximately 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and about 90% of those thoughts are the same, like all the way through our whole lives. And there's something about the mid-30s where they really stick. But anyway, so I have to tell you, I'm inspired today by Joe Dispenza. He's like a sort of a new person in my friend, although not that new in my friends group. Because like Oprah and I have been friends for, ever. She just isn't aware. Wayne Dyer and I, long time. Abraham Hicks and I, a few years. Aaron Doherty, a few years. Joe's maybe a couple of years, yep. But he is all about this. And so it's very important to realize the power of the unconscious. It's in the vault, right? So because the brain loves patterns, loves repetition, when it finds what it's looking for, it's ecstatic, even if that's negative, even if it's all full of negative emotion, right? So when we pull something up, the old thought is going to bring with it, almost like a carry-on bag, the memory is attached to the emotion of that memory. So if you pull something back from 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 weeks ago that was not pleasant, that unpleasant feeling is going to tag along like luggage with the memories. We're reliving it now kind of as if kind of the same as we were reliving it then. May not have the same charge if it's something huge, like, somebody's assaulted or something, but the emotion isn't different. It's right there, and it may be as strong too. So, okay, so there's one thing. So the deal is with 90% of our thoughts being exactly the same, and about 90 to 95% of everything we think, say, and do every day is coming from the vault, which we have no conscious awareness of. Think about that. To even think for one moment that we're going to have positive life change, make a different future, a better future, and a more exciting future, a more joyful future, higher levels of happiness and just all that good stuff, confidence and everything. If we are sort of on autopilot thinking the same thoughts, the high majority, 90%, every day, what's going to change for you? Like zero. Because there's just something about, for some reason, we are just comfortable with same. It's kind of like we'd rather feel guilty and do that and be stuck in that, and shame and be stuck in that. Shame is the most toxic emotion a human being could possibly experience, right? It's that feeling of feeling flawed and defective and not enough and, all that sort of thing. Somehow we start to come into this new awareness of something, and then we just go right back to, well, that's too new, and that involves effort and work, and I got to, picture something brand new. So I don't do that. So I go back to the guilt and the regret and the shame. And that's why many people just don't change. And so here's the thing. And Joe Dispenza talks a lot about meditation. I'm more of a mindfulness person, and meditations are all good. I mean, it's like, it's a like a taste kind of thing, like movies or clothes or food or whatever, mindfulness. But even the meditation he's talking about is being in the moment. So You're like, okay, wait, where's she going with this? If you're trying to envision the future, feel the future, you're talking about being in the present. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So when we can quiet the mind, and some of the greatest thinkers in the world are saying this, okay? When we quiet the mind, when we get into and we're not talking about a lot of minutes. I mean, some of these experts can meditate for an hour or 2 hours. I mean, God bless them, good for you. We're not even talking about that much, just whatever minutes you can do. My oldest son is constantly saying, relative to physical fitness, 2 minutes is better than no minutes, right? So when we can really just sit with and kind of detach from the environment, just quiet. And mindfulness, remember, works by non-judgment, works with non-judgment. So there goes a thought that's nervous. Okay, I'm nervous, who cares? But to just stay with it and really separate from all of the senses, because that's where the magic happens. This awareness happens. And when we become more aware and aware and aware and aware, we create and sort of draw into, it's kind of like creating a toolbox. Abraham Hicks calls it a vortex. I think Joe Dispenza calls it a vortex too. But all this positive emotion, positive visualization that we are just feeling, we're feeling it now as if it's already happened to us, right? Feeling whatever it is that we want our future to be like as if it has already happened. So we're not surprised when it does. And it's so amazing. This is really the only way to kind of climb out of this unconscious, repetitive vault of patterns and negative self-dialogue, is to really come into this awareness and realize, like, oh, there I go again. And it's a process. So like most things, it's gradual. There I go again. I caught myself going down that road of that old memory and feeling guilty all over again, or feeling regret all over again, or feeling scared all over again. And we're not judging it. We're not judging it. We're just catching it. And the more we do that, the more and more we do that, the more we come into our new story and leave the old story behind. It's really about catching yourself, honestly, and acknowledging it. Because when we acknowledge it, the power slowly goes away. And then again, in this moment, in this beautiful present moment that is a gift, we are envisioning present, okay, in our space right here, right now, feeling confident, feeling whatever it is, feeling excited, joyful about this new, journey that we're on. And that is how it happens. So there you go. Feel it as if it's already happened, and be mindful as much as you can. Oh, also, I just did, I think the app was actually yesterday. This can also help. So this is like the precursor, the appetizer, is what we just talked about. If you can check in with yourself, drop in, check in, which John Kabat-Zinn talks about 3 times a day. We're talking about like a minute, just a minute. Man, will this take off for you. So in the morning, in the middle of the day, I don't care where you work. I don't care if you're on Wall Street with the buzz of that. In fact, even more so, actually, 1 minute. Just check in with yourselves. If you have to duck into a bathroom, nobody's going to bother you in there, hopefully. You can certainly sit on the potty for a minute if you have to, but just really to just detach from the atmosphere. Just detach from the atmosphere. If you can get a couple of minutes, duck into a closet, duck into anywhere, go outside and just check in. This will exacerbate this climbing out of the vault towards positive change, because this is the only way to do it. Because we just are on autopilot. Remember, the brain likes same, same, same. And we are going to be same, same, same with 90% of our thoughts not changing if we don't make a real concentrated effort to remain ultra alert and aware and catch ourselves kind of in the act of unconscious sliding. Okay, there we go. So drop in, check in 1, 2, 3 times a day, and then envision the feeling of the future in the moment. All right, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my kitchen in Northern Vermont. Have a very mindful, alert, awake day.